Okay, my dear students, now we are going to discuss about the question paper. Today the exam was conducted and now we are going to see with respect to GST portion, that is section B, in the November 2023 exam, which was conducted on November 8th, 2023. So in this section B, if at all you observe here that, so always question number 5 will be a majorly comprehensive one, and the focus will be on ITC. So if you observe here, whereas with respect to this particular question, whereas if you observe, see outward supplies, inward supplies details are given. So with respect to outward supplies and inward supplies details are given, and some additional information is also given. Based on that, what is the thing you need to do, See, compute the minimum GST payable in cash. So my opinion is concerned, in comparison with previous exams, at least for last 3 to 4 attempts, we can say that definitely this was the most easiest compulsory question that is given in recent exams. Because it is almost a straightforward question, that means it is a mixture of 2-3 topics, that is okay. But there is no tricky ones here, except only one thing you need to keep focus is these RCM concepts. Sorry, this one. These RCM concepts are the only things you need to keep focus. I just rounded the wrong one here. Okay, I'm rectifying that. See, this is the thing. So these two are the things you need to keep focused on, because these two are little bit tricky ones. If at all they are covered under RCM, one is actually the third point here, provided interstate supply of sponsorship service to XYZ Limited. This is outward supply and this is inward supply. Both are actually covered under RCM, that is okay. But whereas the third point generally refers to the outward supply there and this point refers to the inward supply there, student will be little bit confused in that particular exam mode. That is the only thing as far as I observed, a little bit concern for the students here, except that the rest of the things are just like a cakewalk on this particular comprehensive questions in comparison with the previous attempts. This was my opinion, of course. So after that, after the compulsory question, for God's grace, generally it was a little bit easy as per my opinion, except those 2 points I just shown to you. And next thing is 6A. Generally, Mr. Dhawan, an individual registered supplier of Ahmedabad, Gujarat, received the following amounts towards rendering of the intrastate supply of various services. So here it is 6A in the majority cases, even in the previous exams also, just like a little bit comprehensive problem, but except ITC. Generally, the 6A will not cover the ITC, except ITC. What are the remaining chapters that are there? Those combined question will be asked in the form of 6A in majority cases. If you observe this particular 6A here also, which is given for 6 marks. So, first one is with respect to exemptions. Second one is with respect to amendments. It is also actually a clarification. And this one is here also with respect to exemptions chapter. This one is also from exemptions and this one. So the major portion will be here. Some RCM reference will also be there here. If you observe here, in this particular 6A, if at all you see the 6A, straight away in majority cases, myself as a faculty, as well as academic director Prakash sir, many number of times told you the importance of amendments. Even in the class also, we are repetitively saying that not only the current attempt amendments, like with respect to November 2023, some amendments will be there now in the GST. In the same way, May 2023 amendments will also be there now. Yes or no? Whereas with respect to May 2023, massive amendments are there at that time. So it may not be possible for the examiner to ask all those questions, all those amendments in the previous May 2023 attempt. Therefore, I already told you that, ma, this is important thing in the class. While I am discussing those things, I told you like this. Even though those amendments are relating to May 2023, but there are massive number of amendments are there. That's why the examiner may test again May 2023 amendments. That was the point we stressed more number of times. And even in general classes also, we are going to tell you that not only November 2023, along with that, May 2023 amendments also should be read. That's why if you observe our masterminds material, along with November 2023 amendments, we have given May 2023 amendments also only for this particular purpose. If at all you are following our masterminds amendments material, definitely it is easy for you. Because these two, what I have highlighted here, that is point number 2 and point number 5, are generally May 2023 amendments, those two are, and those are asked in the exam. Okay, and in this particular question, apart from the importance of amendments, this is a straightforward one, first point. Second one from amendments, straight one. And fourth one is also a straightforward one, easy one. Fifth one is the amendment, already you have studied that. Only as far as my knowledge is concerned, this is only the tricky one in this particular 6A. Because students have to think about this particular thing, because it is with respect to transportation of passengers amendment. When the people saw at a glance this particular point that is given here, if you observe here, this is a non-AC contract carriage. Straight away the student will think that it is exempted. And it was used for transportation of employees. Okay. But whereas this is a tricky one, then you need to check whether hiring. Because with respect to transportation of passengers, if at all it is a non-AC contract carriage, generally it is exempted. But for three purposes, it can be taxable. Like what we can say simply, roughly what I can say is for the, if at all it is used for tourism, if at all it is a conducted tour, if at all it is a charter or hire, in those cases, even though it is a non-AC contract carriage, definitely it is taxable. So that point is relevant here. So as far as my knowledge is concerned, this point is little bit tricky, okay. Except that rest of the things are straightforward questions here. Okay. And the next one is 6B. If you see 6B, it is purely a cakewalk, ma'am. The people who are lucky fellows here, as far as I know, by seeing the paper, the students may have been having the more joy because they are the persons who write the exam. I'm only their faculty. So their happiness will be much more by seeing actually 6B here, which is a straightforward question in our material, except the name changes. Straightforward question and easy one. Okay. And this one generally, this one Vesco Limited, a registered person in Ahmedabad, Gujarat, having head office in Singapore, received management consultancy services free of cost. It is also covered in the exam. It is also covered in our material. Okay. It is also very easy one. It is based on majorly 7.1c. Many number of times I told you 7.1c is more important. So it comes under A category only. So the student, every student will study A category question. That's why it is a straightforward question based on my opinion, what I can say. And this is the next one, ma'am. Mr. Vendram, proprietor of Lalit Kirana Stores, is registered as a composition dealer in Jodhpur district. He has not furnished the statement for the payment of self-assessment, that is CMP 08 for continuous 2 quarters. He placed an order for the purchase of taxable goods worth 5,50,000 with Baban Sons, a registered dealer from Rajasthan. Baban Sons has been regularly filing his GST returns. Baban Sons wants to generate e-way bill with respect to intrastate supply to be made to Lalit Kirana Stores. Whether Baban Sons is allowed to generate e-way bill as per the provisions of CGST Act 2017, answer with proper reasoning. This point is actually, this was a tricky one, ma. Definitely the student will feel it easy, but it is a tricky one. This question is very good. From the examination point of view, this was very tricky question. when the student first looks at this particular question, he may think that this particular point is focusing on what are the when that particular e-way bill generation can be blocked. But here the point is not when e-way generation will be blocked. The point is here under which capacity e-way bill generation is blocked is the main criteria. As a supplier, your e-way bill generation capacity will be blocked. As a recipient, it will not be blocked. It was, I think it was amendment, some happened in May 2023, as far as I remember. I may be wrong also with respect to this, but it was the latest amendment. Based on that particular line, the question was framed. Wow, super question here. So definitely it will test the conceptual clarity of the person. These type of questions always will test the conceptual clarity of the person's mind. That's why many number of times in the class we have told you that listen to the class carefully. Then only you are able to answer these type of questions. This was a tricky question. The people who have the conceptual clarity are only able to answer this question. Next one will be Dream World Private Limited is registered under GST in the state of Haryana. During the financial year 22-23, its aggregate turnover was 12 crores. In the month of April, it supplied 12 lakhs to the Nightmare Limited, a registered taxable person. You are required to ascertain whether the issue of e-invoice is mandatory in respect of this transaction. Yes, ma, it is a easy question. So, because only e-invoice basics, if at all you learn those basic things, definitely can answer these two questions. Whether with respect to special economic zone it is applicable or not, both are easy questions. Definitely we can do that. And see here, Mr. Atul of Chennai, a registered dealer under GST, has opening balance of ITC of 1,20,000 IGST with respect to November 2022. During the month, the legal proceeding has been initiated, which resulted in a tax liability of 80,000 IGST other than RCM liability. Mr. Atul agrees with the tax liability and wants to use the balance lying in the electronic credit ledger towards the payment of the same. He seeks your opinion whether he is allowed to use the amount lying in the electronic credit ledger for the payment of tax liability payable as a consequence of proceeding. This was also a little bit tricky one, ma. That means a student will be confused with electronic cash ledger concept. Okay. So definitely it is also a tricky one. So there is a difference between electronic cash ledger and credit ledger, ma. Not that much tricky as the previous one, but somewhat okay. Next one. Eighth question, as usual, always will be a theory question. Briefly explain the provisions relating to reversal of IDC. This is also amendment in IDC. With respect to November 2023, there was an amendment in this particular topic. That's why keep focus on amendments. Very straightforward question. On revocation of cancellation, very straightforward question. Okay. So easy ones. And this one is the previous amendment, ma. I think May 2023 it will be based on that this question was there. Like if the person is unable to file the GSTR1, reason being showed that tax payable under GSTR1 which has been filed in respect of last tax period exceeds the tax payable under GSTR3B. That means GSTR1 amount is more than GSTR3B amount. In that case, the procedure that was laid down in Rule 88C, it is also the latest amendment. So, this was in comparison with these two a little bit unexpected one that can be asked for 5 marks. Okay. All of us expected that this will be asked for some 2 marks or something like that. But the people will not expect that this one will be given for some 5 marks way. But it was given, but it is okay. So, this is a paper, ma. As far as my opinion is concerned, the paper is, if at all we rank them with is very easy, easy, hard, very hard. In the case, I put this particular question paper on the easy. It is not very easy, but it was 100% easy paper. If the student is able to study properly, he can answer these questions very well. Okay. Now come to the choice. If at all I am a student who are of above average Question number 5 is compulsory. We can't take the choice there. And 6th one is an easy one, straightforward one. And 7th one, I will take 7th one as a choice one. If at all I was a student who is writing this particular attempt, I will take 7th question as a choice. And I will go for, instead of 7, 8th one I will go with that. Because theory, very much straightforward, and I can have a peaceful sleep tonight. Because it was the last exam in group 1. So in order to sleep peacefully, I will always prefer theory 8A, which is given a very direct theory question, instead of go for these tricky questions which were there in question number 7. Okay. So if at all you want to see whether these things are covered in our material, a short recap. The in-depth story video will be uploaded soon based on the analysis, but this is way how the questions are asked here. You can see this. Input tax credit, question number 5, it is more of a comprehensive in nature. The PQSPs in our material, CRDs, in combination of them it was asked. So that's why I told you so many number of times, doing the CRDs only is not sufficient. You shall do PQSPs, practical questions for self-practice also. See this. And 6A exemptions, along with that amendments. That's why amendments are much more important. And whereas 6B is more of a supply, it was direct straightforward question in our material, CRDs and PQSP. See this. And tax invoice is based on amendment, the topic, and whereas another one is based on CRD fine. You can see this. And see, in payment of tax, this particular type of question was asked in as a concept question in the theory question. So that's why students need to keep focus in our material even on concept questions also. So this is the way how the question paper was asked, ma'am. I think definitely this was an easy question paper in comparison with the previous attempts, especially the question number 5. That means the compulsory question, if you observe from the previous 2 to 3 attempts, it is always a little bit difficult one. But now in your attempt, for the God's sake, it is not like that. I think, I hope every student wrote their exam very well. And today is the completion of, I think, Group 1 exam. The people who are writing the Group 1 exams only can have a peaceful sleep because of the taxation paper which was given much more easy in comparison with the previous attempts, at least what I can say. So, all the best to all of you for your results. God bless you all.